I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared.
First, you're gonna tell me about this science stuff.
Sorry about that. What is a scientist?
You caught me like I'm experimenting with
Science!
It's like magic with electricity.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The smartest scientists in the entire world all agree
Science is a liar sometimes.
Seriously, this could not seem less scientific.
Those idiots don't know anything about science.
It's science.
I believe it's pronounced science.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen.
So I'm just experimenting with them.
You be quiet.
Thank you, scientist.
Here we are.
Under the guise.
Under the guise of science.
You got the tube ready for it?
Fuck yeah. I was practicing some before just because I forgot. I actually had an app with all of his lines before I even saw the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like I knew all his dialogue before even having seen it. So every time he spoke, I was like, "Yep, that one." Yes.
That's where this is from.
Yeah, but yeah, under the guise of science, back again. And I think we haven't been introducing ourselves at all, ever.
That is true. Yeah, we just kind of been.
Yeah. We very awkwardly said it the first time and never addressed each other again. So
yeah.
4th episode in, I'm Charles.
Yeah, I guess if you made it this far, you're 4 episodes in, then you must care. So yes,
right.
And I am Chris.
Yeah, nice. I knew we could do it.
Yeah.
I knew we could say our own names. Who are you, Destiny Child? Ain't nobody said your name. The one redeeming line of dialogue from the movie The Wash.
I never saw The Wash.
Oh, you're not missing much. I just said the best part.
Okay. Excuse me.
So the fun thing that I wanted to bring up today. Did you ever know? No. Fucking Andy Rooney.
What is the deal?
Yeah. I don't road rage much. Like there are times that I'll get into like if somebody cuts me off or is like dangerously cuts me off, like if I get next to them, I'll give them like, hey, and kind of point at them and I got home one day and I was fired up from a specific one. I was really mad and I was like, I want to get a sign in my car and just have it to hold up to the window. Anytime something like that happens, I'll just hold the sign up and the driver will read, "You have a very small dick."
Having it already, yeah.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. They read it, they get mad. I cruise off into the sunset. And my practically pragmatic thinking wife says, that's probably not a good idea because then they can just follow you home because they also are in a car.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's fair. So after a lot of tweaking and trying to find the right balance of what the sign, because I'm not giving up on the sign idea. I think it's too good. I think what we ended up coming up with is cool penis, bro. Because it kind of gets you worked up, but it's also confusing enough. Like, do they really mean it? Like, is flattery their way to deal with anger?
Yeah, no, I feel like a person who's headstrong and like weaving through traffic and doesn't give a shit about other people anyway would read that and go, yeah, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
No, he's right. This guy's right. Cool. It's fucking cool, man.
It would be funny if, like, not wearing underwear. It's very drafty. I
haven't tell you about... sorry, real quick, but I tell you about the time I was solicited coming home from Atlantic City. It was me and 2 other men in the car with me as we're driving home. I think it was after a show or something like that. So we weren't staying over. We weren't drinking. We were just driving home. And a car full of drunk girls pulls up next and, like, sloppy, disgustingly drunk, like they're rolling down the window and they're screaming, "Show us your dick!" like the three of us are gonna be like, "You ready, guys? Let's do it."
Yeah.
Like, no, what? Turn around, fellas. This is my moment.
Yeah. All right, everybody on 3, just like we practiced.
And that's how I met my wife. I don't think that never happens. You never hear that kind of story.
No, it's always she caught my eye, and she looked so pretty that night, and I had to work up the courage. It's never. Yeah, they threw a fucking half-eaten cheeseburger at my driver's side window, and then yelled at me to show them my dick, and I was the only one. So I got married.
Right, I stepped up to the plate. Yeah.
The crazy shit, like, people do crazy shit in cars. Like, where we were coming home from, I think it might have been going to see Dropkick Murphys on St. Paddy's Day in 2001.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you go to that show?
I may have.
In Boston?
In 01, maybe not.
Yeah.
Might have been before I was
you might have still been.
Yeah, really into going to shit.
So we're on the way home, and there's these just up in Massachusetts, because, you know, Massachusetts, there's even less rules than prison. It's fucking. So these guys have a keg in their back seat, and it's just 3 dudes just drinking out of, like, it was over 20 years ago. So red Solo cups were not even really that much of a thing. They were just clear keg party cups, like,
nice.
Not even trying to hide it. And we ended up dumping out the vanilla culotta drink that I had from the fucking Dunkin's we just stopped at, dude.
Nice.
And we like did a midair refueling, like in the Top Gun video
like
game.
as you're driving, they filled it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
doing
shit.
like 70. Yeah, in the pack. And just in all total transparency, I drank a few sips of it and then dumped it out because it still had a bunch of vanilla milk product in there.
Yeah.
So it was more for the symbolic nature, you know, to say we did it.
Yeah,
We weren't lying. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's one
crazy
you
shit.
go for the story. Well, since
Absolutely.
stories of drinking on the highway real quick. So we were driving up to Albany. You probably know this one. But we were driving up to Albany, and there was a couple cars of us. And I was in the car with Bob. And for whatever reason, there was a jug of wine in his passenger seat. So obviously he's driving, so he can't drink. So he told me, you know, get as drunk as I can and entertain him. So so I did. I started hitting the wine, and we got into traffic on the, what the fuck was it? Not the Garden State. What's above that one? The Thruway, the New York Thruway.
Okay.
So it was bumper to bumper. It got real slow. The car behind us, they had a bag. So, you know, I was figured I'd run back, grab that so I could smoke on the rest of the trip. So because it was so slow, I texted, it was whoever was behind us. All right, I'll be right there. I get out of the car. I, as fast as I can, run back to the car behind me, and the window's open. They're waiting for me. I stick my head and my hands in, and it's the wrong fucking car. it's strangers. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm so sorry. They were 2 cars back. Apparently someone pulled in front of them. So I get back. Now I run
That's
to
what they get for being in a rush. They get your head.
Yeah,
chiming
we're cutting in there, breaking up a friendly caravan. So I run 2 cars back now. I get it. There, everybody in the other car is laughing at me. So I'm going back to the car, and traffic starts picking up. So now, it doesn't, you know, I mean, Usain Bolt, what does he run? Like 13, 14 miles an hour? Like it's, or even 15 or whatever it is. Like the fastest people in the world are running. So, I mean, the cars start rolling, even if it's 7 miles an hour, 8 miles an hour. Like I'm booking now. Half a jug of wine in me with weed in my hand, trying to run back to the car. And I'm on the outside, so I'm trying not to step on the brumble strips and get, but I made it, got back in the car. Everything worked out. But Yeah. Sometimes just for the story.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. if I could tell a you story without getting into too much detail, when we went to see Scissor Fight in Massachusetts, just you, me, and Crack.
Yeah, I only remember 3/4 of that evening. So yeah, you're going to tell a part that I don't recall.
So the story is is the last quarter.
Okay,
you came on real strong in the fourth quarter. You were a force to be reckoned with.
That was one of the few blackouts. That's a solid blackout night. Yeah.
You were the one who got us there directions wise too.
Okay.
Like I was driving, so just like, all right.
Yeah, this is before GPS, before all that shit.
Yeah, you totally had a map quest.
Yeah.
And we stop at a corner, and I roll the window down to ask the guy on the passenger side, of course, which is where you're sitting, to ask him for directions. And the only way I can describe it is if you've ever walked close to somebody's car where the window's down and they have a dog that you don't know. Like it was just yelling at this guy out of nowhere. I was like, hey, excuse me, could you move there?
Oh boy. Yeah.
And it just window back up. This isn't going to help anything.
Thank you. Have a good night. Yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this. Also, it took us a whole 4 episodes before we started telling stories about us drinking.
Yeah. This is the time to record them for posterity, so our grandkids know what fuck ups we were.
Oh man. Well, anyway, that's who you're gonna get science advice from. Is those two?
Yep. We've matured. That was a long time ago. We've matured.
Yeah, that was half our life ago.
Yeah, sure.
Make it sound old. I saw the reality in your eyes there for a second. God damn it!
Yeah, the eyebrows went up. They got round for a minute. It is what it is.
Yeah, and we also don't we aside from not introducing ourselves, we also don't ever explain what the show is about, and just kind of hope you figure it out.
We're learning.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna shout after we introduce you as Chris.
Yeah.
Whatever. That guy, the guy without glasses, is gonna teach me some stuff about science that he's watched videos on and read Wikipedia pages on, probably.
Yeah. And I have read some books. I do have a couple. I've read a Rich Carroll book or two, or Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think there's a Brian Cox book that he may not have
Brian
even
Cox.
No, he may not have written. I'm not sure if he wrote a book or not, but I read stuff by him, I should say. Yeah.
The guy from Super Troopers, Chief O'Hagan. Not that Brian Cox.
Not that Brian Cox. Yeah.
Okay.
But I have in my day I've read upwards of 3 books.
All right.
But yeah, no, I feel like it interests me, and for some reason when I do watch a video or read something about it or whatever, I retain it. It's I retain it better than I retain this month I should pay bills again. So might as well do something with it, right? And
they'll be here again next month.
Yeah.
I'll deal with them then.
But my favorite part of this show is that you're asking me questions about things that I have slightly more knowledge than you in, and just taking my word completely as gospel.
Absolutely. If you ask me, do I want to read a book or background check information or talk to you, I'm always going to pick talk to you.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I don't know if I made this joke or not at any point, but it's like the Mitch Hedberg joke of I took the roundabout AIDS test. I asked my friend, "Do you know anyone with AIDS?" He's like, "Nah." Cool.
Because you know me.
Yeah. And yeah, so somewhere in there, connecting dots. Not a great analogy, but still got to tell a Mitch joke.
Yeah, close enough. And bringing up Mitch Hedberg is never frowned upon.
Oh, speaking of Mitch, I brought a banana to work today, and I left it in my car, and it was in there for like 3 hours, and it was 4 degrees. So I got to the car to eat my banana, and it was frozen. And I didn't want a frozen banana, but I did want a regular banana later. So I took it in. Yeah.
So you took it inside, let it thaw?
Yeah. And then 45 minutes later, I got to have a regular banana later.
Nice. And it works?
It does.
Yeah.
Bananas can, in fact, defrost.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it like gets freezer burn or something like that. Or,
it was a fresh freeze. It was kind of a fresh freeze. It wasn't under too long, I want to say.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very difficult to unsheath.
Yeah, get an ice pick.
That is the clinical term for peeling a banana, right?
Unsheath
a banana.
Disrobe the banana.
Was that a messy keyboard? Man. So I do before, well, as we're getting into this now, just because it took me all that. It's difficult to plan for this because I think of jokes immediately, and it's like now I got to remember them and hold them.
Yeah,
but
you need a pen and paper at all times or something. Well, like
where the hell was it?
Notes app.
So I did. I sent you Dark Fluid, Phantom Energy, The Big Rip. What I wanted to follow it up with sounds like a local metal band Friday night show.
Yep, all ages.
Yeah, dude, you seen The Big Rip?
Yeah,
fuck, real good, bro. There's a lot of dark stuff in space, though.
Yeah,
and that's because there's not a lot of light in there.
It's kind of a misnomer, dark, because you think dark, you think turn the lights off and you can't see anything. But it's more, I guess, invisible is almost a better word for it, because dark, there's still stuff, you could still see dark in a way. It's the absence of light versus a lot of the dark stuff that we're talking about. You can't see it at all. Like it doesn't interact with anything else except it looks like gravity. But light doesn't interact with it. The strong, weak nuclear forces, neither of those interact with it. And it looks like it can actually pass through matter and stuff like that.
So let's see if I could remember anything from last episode. The like redshift. Does dark matter have any type of effect on light, causing it to shift to one end or the other of the spectrum, or no?
Dark energy. Well, that's actually interesting. We can. You might not. Let's take a step back to
okay.
How we found where dark matter was observed in the first place. So just to keep it short, everything is spinning. Obviously, all of the various stars and star systems are spinning around. In the center of every galaxy, there's usually a supermassive black hole. It looks like in all the different galaxies that we can see, the middle is a supermassive black hole, and everything orbits around that. The weird thing about the orbits, though, is as you go out further, the planets, not even the planets, the stars should be orbiting slower. Like the closer star, there's like a weird, the graph goes up and then it starts to level out as far as how they should spin. So the really close stuff is spinning kind of slowly comparatively, but then you get to a certain point where the closer stars are spinning faster or orbiting around the center faster, and then the further out you get, the stars should slow down in their orbit, because if they're going too fast, the gravitation at that distance shouldn't be able to pull them. They should go flying off. But for some reason, the further out stars spin just as fast as or orbit just as fast as the middle of the way stars. So there's really no difference, and it doesn't make sense why they're not flying out. So that's where dark matter was first proposed. Again, it's always math. It's always some kind of mathematical trick where if they add this, a better term for dark matter is invisible gravity, because they basically add this invisible gravity into the formula, and it's like, oh, now it makes sense. The stars can spin at that speed if there is all this additional gravity that we can't see somewhere in the galaxy or in between all the things.
Now, when you say they add, like, because I think this came up a little bit in the last episode, and I didn't know how to articulate it, but I think I might know. If, like, when they're trying to figure that out, like, well, this shouldn't be doing it because it's so far away, based off of everything we know so far. What if we put this in here? They obviously then do all kinds of additional math and stuff, like, to check that makes sense as well. Yeah. Right? Like, it's not just like, well, what if this was here also? Okay.
Let's try stuff. Well, yeah. I mean, there's some cases where they just kind of throw things out there and see what works. Like when they start adding in additional dimensions to, like, we'll need a whole episode for string theory, but just real quick, string theory needs 11 dimensions to work, like 10 additional dimensions, 10 dimensions of space that are like wrapped up on each other, and then one dimension of time. So the only way to get there is they were just like, all right, well, what if we did this math equation in 5 dimensions? That didn't work. Okay, how about 7? And eventually, 11 works nicely. Here we go. So it's kind of the same thing for, I know I just threw that out there and that's a whole curveball or whatever, but just to illustrate the point that, so if you're solving Einstein's field equations of relativity for the sun, let's say, and like what they do is they look at everything how it is, figure out, okay, this is how gravity works. So we expect that this is how gravity will work for all the other stuff. And then they plug it into the equation and they say, look, it worked out. We were right. Or, this doesn't work as we go further out for whatever reason. The equations say the further out stars should be moving slower, but we're looking at them and they're not. So from there, that's where they have to figure out how to adjust the equation, or it's just a clue that what they're thinking is wrong, and there's something else to it that we're missing. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And then someone
last
up.
thing on string theory, by the way, before we move off of that. So this guy interned with was like, oh, dude, I found a video that'll help you understand string theory, no problem. And it's like animated, like, and it's like, even as it's explaining, it's animating and panning things out to kind of give you an idea of its analogies.
Okay.
And I use it to fall asleep when I can't fall asleep. I don't know I still don't get it. It just might be too vast of an idea for my brain.
It's really confusing, but the guy we talked, Michio Kaku, how do you say his name?
Michio Kaku.
Yeah, he's good at explaining it. And Brian Greene, I don't know if you've seen him before, but he was like the face of string theory in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. He's kind of like, string theory was supposed to be it. Like, everyone was super excited about it, but now it's all these years later and it still can't fit very well. So there've been modifications, and there's like, they've changed it to M theory and added another thing called supersymmetry to it, and wrapped all these other abstract, outside the box, not accepted necessarily as a thing, but they all kind of warp together. But Brian Greene is pretty good at turning all of that into common English.
All right.
Yeah, if you check that out.
I'll give him a how do you do.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah. So that's dark energy. So or dark matter. Also, like you were saying with light. So just kind of going back to tying it to what we began with, and another way that dark matter was confirmed to where it has to be real, or there has to be something else there that's producing this extra gravity. There's something called lensing, or I forget what, some kind of lensing. But if there's a big body or a big mass in between us and a source of light, and it's coming towards us, the amount of gravity there warps space, right? It actually bends space-time. And light, as we talked about, moves through space like a medium, like a wave going over the top of the ocean. It moves across it. So as that is bent, the light bends. So in some cases, like if we're looking at a large galaxy or some large massive stars or something like that, maybe a cluster of stars, the light coming from behind it, it looks like there's two stars, one to either side, but it's actually the light coming behind it breaking and bending and coming back around and meeting in the front and continuing on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it actually warps space that much that the path that light takes is curved.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So it bends it around it?
Yep.
Like, because doesn't this stuff with gravity usually, like, kind of pull the light, maybe bend the light towards it? Or I guess technically it is bending the light towards it because it's pulling it around the...
Yeah, I guess it's just like this part of space that squishes and compresses, and because the light, instead of being able to come straight to us through it, it kind of follows this curvature of space as it goes around. I know what you mean. Like, you would think that as it's pulling in, that the light would bend in and then come out, like, towards it. Yeah. But don't forget, light is moving at the speed of light, so it's crazy fast. It takes something with an immense amount of gravitation, like a black hole, to actually pull it in and capture it. So
light out there, like, look whose name's on that. Is it the speed of sound? No, motherfucker. The speed of light. Speed of light. Don't fuck with me.
It's my galaxy. Who run this shit? Who
run the Andromeda system?
Mach 5. I'm like Mach 10,000, motherfucker.
That's already in the front running for the name of the episode. What the heck? I went to what got me down the... I just looked up dark matter real quick, and then in a matter of seconds and clicks, it was just... dark fluid, dark flow, dark, like, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's tons. Well, we'll get to dark fluid in a minute, because that's kind of a combination of two different ideas. So that's those things. Now we know dark matter is a thing, or there's some other kind of gravity that we're not taking account of. So scientists were then able to figure out how much gravity is in the universe based on the amount of actual matter that we can see, and then the amount of dark matter that mathematically is present. We can't see it, but we can calculate all of it and pull it all together. Then, like we talked about with the expansion of the universe, last episode we talked about that, with the amount of gravity in the universe versus the speed that everything looks like it'll be expanding from us, scientists, or everything is expanding from us, scientists calculated how much gravity would there have to be in the universe to slow that expansion down and to actually pull it back in so that it, did that whole big crunch, bounce, come back. And based on how fast everything is expanding, the amount of gravity in the universe it's not enough. It's going to continue expanding until everything eventually dies out. So based on that is, I guess, mathematically became dark energy. It's the expansion of the universe, some mysterious force that we don't understand that is causing space to expand at such a rate. And it's expanding at an increasingly exponential, I think it's like constant, but the further you get away from us, it seems like it's exponential. It's kind of like if you were to take a rubber band and draw lines for every inch, and then if you just stretch it 1 inch, like the 1 inch is now 2 inches apart, but the 4 is, like doubles in size, kind of, you know what I mean? If
Oh, okay.
Not 1 inch, but you expanded it so that everything does, yeah. So it's kind of like that. The further away, the more that expansion is prevalent.
And like, so you can't see any of the stuff with the name dark, or you can't even pick it up in any, like, because it's still just observing things around it being affected by.
Yeah.
Even though you don't necessarily even see anything there.
Yeah.
So not to Ancient Aliens, but is it possible? It never was, right? By the way, once he says, is it possible?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Not once has it ever been possible.
Yeah.
But so it's potentially possible. We just don't know how, like, we don't have the correct technology or made the correct discoveries to where we can see that, because that's ultimately what astronomy has been the whole time, is that we don't know why this is doing this, but we're guessing that there's something else there, and then eventually there was something else there, and they were finally able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that may be exactly it. That eventually we'll get some kind of device that can pick it up and tell what it is. Or it may be something that we're not thinking about the right way, and there's something else that, like, right now it's kind of like gravity. We can predict what it does. We can use it in our calculations. We understand its effects on everything really well, but we don't understand what the hell it is. We don't know what causes it in the first place. So, yeah, similar to the both of the dark things.
But then, like, isn't what causes gravity? But then
what causes gravity is mass. Like,
is the mass.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, so for example, when this is getting into now quantum physics. It's a little bit deeper, but like when two quarks stick together, there's actually something called a gluon, which is a force-carrying particle that is exchanged between the two. And that's the thing that causes the stick to happen. Same thing like a magnet. So it's electromagnetism. It's actually a photon, or maybe a virtual photon, that's being exchanged between the North and South Pole that pulls the thing together. So, like, we understand on a fundamental level how those forces work. We have no idea what is actually being exchanged that is pulling the two things together when it comes to gravity. So it's like, it's kind of a mind fuck, but there's actually some kind of force being exchanged when things are attracted to each other or repel each other.
All right.
Yeah. So we have no idea. Yeah, go.
Similar type of, well, maybe not similar type of thing. Like, nothing is ever actually touching, right? It's just getting super close, and then like the I don't know, the
forces
particles you're made up are just like, it's actually that pushing into each other.
Yeah, it's like the electrons are like, chill, this is my spot. Don't come any closer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. You said it way more eloquently.
Yeah. Yeah, most of us is empty. Most of us is nothing. But on such a small level.
Most of everything is nothing, I believe you said once already.
Yeah.
Which is great. So anytime someone's like, you contributed nothing, it's like, good. Most of everything is nothing.
You're welcome.
So I contributed more than the rest of you.
That nothing is a contribution, so you're welcome. Yeah.
Wouldn't be here without me, guys. Wouldn't be here without me. Just trying to pull my weight.
So again, with the calculations and everything, E equals mc squared. So all that means is energy equals mass if it's multiplied by some constant, in this case, the square of the speed of light. But it just means energy and mass are equal. It's just one is sped way the hell up or one is slowed way the hell down. So now they had the calculations of all the gravity in the universe, between the actual matter and the dark matter, and then they figured out all of the energy in the universe from the dark energy that's pushing back, and dark energy takes up or counts for 75% of the actual energy in the universe, the energy count in the universe. Dark matter is 20%. I don't know. I apologize. I probably have the numbers wrong, but the point of where I'm going with all this is actual matter that you can touch and see and actual makes up things is only about, 5 to 8% of the actual energy value in the universe. So most of the universe is this crap that we can't see and can't detect and all that good stuff.
No idea where almost all of it's coming from.
No, yeah. It's just there.
We're not even using 5% of the universe, man. we got all that unlocked potential there.
Yeah. We could be riding the dark energy off into the next galaxies or whatever. We got to figure out how to tap it.
Off into the space sunset.
So now with all that background, now we can get into the interesting stuff that you were texting about. I just wanted to set the stage for what dark matter and dark energy are and kind of where they came from and stuff. So dark fluid, which is pretty cool, is kind of thinking that dark matter and dark energy are the same or are two different sides of the same coin, I guess is the way to put it. So in space, where there's nothing, where there's no actual mass, dark energy behaves like this repellent that's stretching the actual fabric of space and time and extending it out. And for whatever reason, the belief is this dark fluid, where there is stuff, where there's actual mass and matter, that it negates that outward pressure and it actually causes more of a contracting or gravitational type effect. So that's the idea there, is that they're both the same thing. It's just that it does one thing where there's matter and one thing where there's no matter, which, I guess is kind of on the newish side, but is a very cool theory. And I don't know, I would love to see if that's real or not. But
is that related to antimatter at all?
No, antimatter, that's a completely different thing. We call it antimatter just because it's the opposite of what we're made of, but it's just another type of matter that the universe created.
I was reading something on it real quick, and it's just without any explanation, just kind of skimming. It was just all right, so it's pretty much, all right, so there's stuff, and then everything that isn't that is not stuff. And that's pretty much it. Or does it? But is that still theoretical antimatter?
No, antimatter is real. We can see it.
Does it just eat matter?
If antimatter and matter meet, they annihilate each other. They're both. I don't know if that's always the word I hear is annihilate, but I don't know if annihilate means wink out of existence or explode in a furious fireball. I don't know the difference. I don't know what it is. Annihilate to me sounds like it's an explosion. Don't be there.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
But they both are gone. There's not two matter antimatters enter, none will leave. They're both done.
Yeah,
there's no winner.
Nobody escapes Thunderdome, and it's Matterverse antimatter. Yeah. It's the end of the line. Which I don't know. It would be cool if it didn't explode, though. If it just kind of went pew.
Oh, and just
at the unit.
like just. I can't even do it. No, I'm just doing water drips. Never mind.
Yeah,
it was worth a shot.
Or if it went, oh. That's the sound of it annihilating. What the fuck was that? Is that an old guy? Somebody pulled a hip?
Did an old guy stub his toe and make a noise as he was going to the ground? Ah!
No, that's what happens at the LHC. That's when antimatter and matter collide in the lodge. I hate this job.
There's a maximum age limit to work there too, because they won't be able to tell if you've tripped and fallen over anything.
Yeah. I wrote that down, Billy. You fucked up my test. $1 billion lost on your stupid knee.
And then, like, YouTube's conspiracy videos years later is like, if you listen here at this one, it sounds like but if you slow it down, it's more of a oh. And that's not the sound they make. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't forget to smash subscribe.
Right. More fake science. More. That's my favorite. Like, sidebar a little bit. We'll come back to dark fluid and phantom energy and stuff. But when it comes to science, like the amount of people that say scientists are lying to you and it's a big conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. There is two things that scientists like or love in this world. Thing number one is publishing a paper. Publishing a paper with a new theory, with some groundbreaking something or other, maybe nominated for a Nobel, some kind of acceptance or recognition that, hey, that's a great idea. Thing number two, which they love even more than thing number one, is disproving someone's new paper. That's their favorite thing. Somebody publishes a paper, 20 of them run out to say, nah, that's bullshit. And that's how scientists comes to a consensus, because the other 20 go, fuck, he's right. And they can't prove it. So the idea that these people are all working together to manipulate the masses, no, they want to be on the cover of Science fucking magazine. I don't know what if that is. Whatever it is.
This month in Science fucking magazine, we got 7 articles about this shit. I don't know. Hey, we got some quarks and some fucking gluons. I don't know.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. Why don't you open it up? You fucking lazy prick. Read it. Why are you still staring at the cover? Get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. So the idea that there's some scientist conspiracy. No scientist wants to let, you take the credit and then I go along with it and just pretend like this is the way it is and it's a lie. Absolutely not. I'm going to disprove you and I'm going to publicly show that you're wrong, because I want the credit, because I've been working in science for 30 years and the pay is shit. So I want
it's every single, think of like the smartest of the smart that you were in high school or college with, depending on however far you've gone.
Yeah.
Like the people that are doing the best are the most fucking competitive about it. Like nobody's like a casual genius,
right?
Yeah, nobody does that shit. They're up all night, and if somebody else is doing it, it's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? How can I do it? They're doing better.
Right. It's revenge for getting picked last in softball or whatever. Now, all right, fine. I'm going to publish this paper and show you. With your AT&T job. They
steal from each other. They don't support each other. Look at fucking Edison and Tesla and
Yeah.
or whoever else.
There's nothing a scientist likes better than proving another scientist is dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that you don't even need like actual science. You just need to know people to see that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
It's people insecure for either, like you said, getting picked last in fucking kickball, or their parents were absolute slave drivers with making them study and be the best. And so, yeah, like I didn't get beat every time I got an A- just to let you get credit for this theory.
Right, yeah. Yep. But anywho.
Yeah.
So that's dark fluid. It's kind of an attempt to combine dark energy and dark matter into two different things. Real quick, though, I want to talk about my favorite thing related to dark matter is that there's an idea that dark matter, I gotta watch the New York accent. Dark matter. There's this idea that dark matter is this like we have the standard model of particles, and dark matter may be a particle that we haven't discovered yet. We don't know because we haven't discovered it. But if it is, it's a weakly interacting massive particle. So it doesn't interact with all the other forces very well, just gravity, and that's the weakly interacting piece. And it also has more gravity than a regular particle, so it must be massive. So the acronym for that is WIMPs. So all these little wimpy dark matter have to pulling everything together. Don't spin so fast.
Slow down, you're gonna get hurt.
We're gonna get kicked right out of the galaxy.
What is the acronym? What are the acronym words?
Weakly interacting massive particle.
Oh, okay.
WIMP. Yeah.
All right.
So they call them. That's the search for WIMPs. It's like, well, look around the lab.
Why don't you take a look in the mirror? All right.
I'm just playing scientist. You know we love you.
Good. I'm glad you said that because that gave me enough time to realize I'm not going to say the joke.
Okay.
I had one and I was like,
Yeah, bail out.
Yep. Pause. Where's pause? So, why did they go with fluid? Because fluid draws a very specific image.
I don't know. Yeah. I believe it was a woman that invented it, so I'm going to say you have to ask the woman that invented it. And the only reason I prefaced it that it was a woman is for that sentence. I'm not trying to gender anything, whatever.
I feel like by trying not to dig a hole, you dug a hole.
No, I'm making it worse. Yeah, it's so much worse. I did just use gender as a verb, though, so I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
How many people ever use that? So
no, that's true. Well done.
Thanks.
Well done. You're a very thoughtful, caring person.
Tell my wife. I can't do Rodney, but it's along those lines.
I'm picturing it in that voice.
Thank you.
Because that's pretty much the only voice in my head now anymore.
Taking over regular thoughts.
Yeah. Do you watch Doom Patrol?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch anything. I don't know.
Right.
You did. If you do that, there's going to be a whole lot of. No, I don't. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, now there's a character.
Yeah. I watch AEW on Wednesdays. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, I'll have to watch more AEW to both do better, to do slightly better in fantasy wrestling, and and have more material with which to draw from.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'll try to watch more TV to help you out.
As mentioned, I do not have children.
Yeah.
I can watch whatever I want, whenever I want, as long as I'm awake.
Yeah. You made some some good choices along the way, Charles. I love my children. I love them dearly. But I can't watch what I want. That's what I'm like.
What was the...
Diving in, so I just wanted this is a cool point. So Albert Einstein, when he came up with his theory of general relativity, the one related to gravity, he thought that the universe was static, that it was staying still, and that there's something called the cosmological constant in it that was pushing everything back to keep the gravity from collapsing. At one point, he realized, that's not the case. This doesn't make sense. And he pulled that cosmological constant. It's just a value of basically negative gravity, kind of. And he was like, that doesn't work. He pulled it out. And he called it his greatest mistake. Now we jump forward 90 years or however long it was until dark energy was discovered. Guess what? It's the fucking cosmological constant. They plugged it back. So even when he was wrong, he was right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's how right he was, that he just got to be like, nah, probably not. And he was still right.
No, he said probably. He said, this is my greatest mistake. Oh. I was like, no, you were right, dude. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I didn't make any mistakes. But so the cosmological constant is now that's the expansion of the universe, dark energy. It fits into the equation. Everything's expanding, blah, blah, blah. The thing that you texted me about phantom energy, and this ties into the Big Rip also, there's a couple different potential end states of the universe based on that dark energy, the cosmological constant, and how it evolves over time. As of right now, it seems like the most likely scenario is something called heat death, which is the most boring thing possible. It's just everything keeps expanding until there isn't enough fuel for stars to do anything anymore. Eventually, we'll just have, dead husks of stars, big black holes. Everything will evolve into a black hole. The universe will just keep expanding, expanding, expanding. There'll be no way for any information to communicate between each other, and it just goes on like that forever. I mean,
so
and that's...
Heat death is cold?
Heat death is the death of heat. Yep.
It's like some Iceland, Greenland shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, they call it heat death because nothing else is going to happen. Everything else is just going to... Temperature goes to near 0 Kelvin, kind of, where it's just nothing going on. Yeah. It'll get to the point where black holes, which are... I've never felt one, but notoriously known for being very cold, it'll get to the point where there's nothing else in the universe, and they'll be warm compared to the rest of the universe, and like Hawkwing radiation will speed up and stuff like that. But
divorce amongst black holes is significantly higher than humans for how notoriously cold they are.
Divorce amongst black holes sounds like an emo album.
Yeah, right? So much eyeliner.
So, just to hop in, so the big crunch, which we already talked about, would be the other way. That's if the constant wasn't enough to overcome the gravity, and it went to a certain point, rebounded back in, pop, and that would be eternal. The big rip. So that's where phantom energy comes in. If the cosmological constant is not constant, if it changes over time, and it could get to the point where it increases and things are expanding even faster. The way it is now, only stuff like we talked about with dark fluid, only areas of space that don't have any matter actually expand. The other ones are still, the galaxy, the space between the stars isn't growing because there's still stuff in there. So the galaxy is still clumped together nice. If phantom energy or whatever it is real and that constant increases, that would then increase the dark energy over time, actually where there's actual matter. So then stars would start to drift further apart. You would get to the point where the space between atoms even expanded. And now the big rip, we're actually ripping the fabrics of stuff where, you know, atoms can't even form or molecules can't even form and stuff. So that's what the big rip is. If that expansion of space increases exponentially to the point where it even expands between our actual atoms, then nothing, you know, everything will just be ripped to shreds and nothing will be real.
So everything, like everywhere that there's no matter, which I guess is in between, in the spaces in between, like in atoms,
galaxies,
but like
in the big rip scenario, yeah, because as it increases, like right now, it only exists in those spaces where there's nothing. For whatever reason, the matter tends to cancel it out, or the gravity tends to overpower it. But if that were to increase to the point where it overpowered gravity, it would then start pulling things apart, increase a little bit more. It'd even start pulling, you know, your planets and your soul and your sun and stuff apart. And then eventually it'll get to the point where it's pulling everything apart, including that minuscule amount of space between your atoms. Yeah.
Wow. So just ripping the entire thing apart from the inside.
Big
from
rip.
the inside of everything.
Yeah.
It's appropriately named.
Yeah. But like I said, it seems like the most likely case, just based on, it looks like the curvature of the Earth is flat. It looks like magically the balance between the dark energy and the stuff that causes gravity is like a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's just going to continually extend until everything just slowly doesn't do anything anymore.
Oh, man.
But we're talking, I think it's 10 to the 120 power years, so a 1 with 120 zeros after it, so the universe has some time.
That's even bigger than a Google, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't a Google 100 zeros?
Google is 10 to the 100. Yep.
Okay.
So it's 10 to the 120. That's when they think, you know, all the black holes in existence will be done, and, you know, everything, nothing will be left. So yeah, we're 14 billion years in, so we're still in the early stage of the universe. Believe it or not, most of the universe is going to be boring nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive when we're podcasting about how awesome
I was going to say, most of the universe will not have podcasts. So this is, this is good.
Does not currently, nor will it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a very small window for podcasts in the universe as far as we know.
Like there's some insane amount of podcasts in the country or just in the world, and I forget what it is. It's some insane ratio of people to podcasts that exist. So I think they should have a contingency plan that if the planet is ending or when the planet's ending and there's people here, the last thing you should do is just broadcast every single episode of every podcast into every single direction out into space
at the same time. Yeah, get it all out there.
Just get every little bit of information out there, and see that actually does, like, they can kind of comb through and find some actual information. But I was just with my dying breath to annoy people I don't know yet.
Yeah, please listen to this. You know, we've sent like so much crap out into space, just hoping aliens would find it and make some kind of communication or something like that. And we talked about antimatter versus matter. Like, as far as these math equations go, there's only like one, I think it's called left-handedness, which isn't even like a real thing. It's just kind of like a label that they applied to matter versus antimatter. And there's something else called spin, which things don't actually spin. Again, it's just a label. But like the only difference between matter and antimatter is that left-handedness or whatever. So like if we were to send, or if an alien group were to send a message to us telling us this is how you make an engine that'll allow you to travel greater than the speed of light, and we tried to put it together, it's possible without that left-handedness thing that it could be like an antimatter engine that we were putting together, and poop, we're all annihilating ourselves with that. Like, so like the stuff that we sent out to aliens, we had to make sure that we included that kind of stuff so that they would know it's matter versus antimatter, because obviously they don't speak English, but hopefully they speak math.
Oh, okay. So, all right, I see what you're saying. I was initially picturing it as like aliens in the spirit of left-handedness were being sinister, and were like sending something back. Oh yeah, here's how you build a spaceship, and it's just to blow us up.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, though, why would an alien want to go out and colonize? Like, it's kind of like the Europeans or something. It's because, A, we need resources, so whoever lives there, we're going to kill them and take their resources. Or B, I don't know, the spirit of exploration or something like that. But I don't know. Either way, it seems like they would have light years better technology than us and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't want to attract them, is my point. I mean, here we are. And they're gonna, there's the water. Let's go get it.
Yeah. Yeah, we were looking for 80% of the surface of your planet.
Yeah. No, we don't need you.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't even have to, like, all right, if I'm an alien general and I'm looking down at this planet and I'm like, most of the people seem to live near the water. Let's drop some big shit in the ocean. Game over.
Let's just crash a few of our large ships that we don't need anymore.
Yeah.
Just right into there and just tidal wave city.
Yeah.
Surfs up Oklahoma.
Yeah. Aliens, yeah, that's another fun topic. I could go on for a while about how stupid we are to want to mess with aliens. The idea of, or trying to go to other planets. Like if they're able, like the Area 51, Area 50, we caught an alien. That was, if anything, a teenager that stole his mom's car and crashed. Because for us to get to Alpha Centauri, like, it would take tens of thousands of years. The people that left Earth would be dead, have families, they would be dead. They would have, by the time the people actually got to Alpha Centauri, they wouldn't even know what the fuck Earth is, except if they were taught it or something like that. So if an alien were able to come from interstellar space and get here, their technology is so much further than ours.
Oh man, what if it was?
Yeah.
Oh, what if they were trying to make Earth like space Australia? Like they're just trying to send all the criminals here.
Yeah, well, like in South Park, where they were like, we collected different species. We got humans, deer, blah, blah. They threw them all on one planet to see how they interact. Yeah, a reality show.
I feel like they nailed Earth versus other planet interactions perfectly. Between
usually, if they tackle something, they're usually pretty good. Yeah, but yeah, sorry, go on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, just that example you just gave, the first episode with the anal probe. Is that it? Is that same one with the? No,
it was a different one because that was the suck my jag on.
Yeah, that's the one that I was talking about. Yeah, that's that was going to be my next example. Now you suck my jag-ons. Like I'll be
the Marklar one.
Oh yeah. With the I'll be at work, and if something's warm, I'll say, "Oh yeah, that's so hot," and nobody gets it. Nobody ever gets it. And that's unfortunate because it's fun.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's right. Yeah, they were the reality show producers. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I sucked your jag-ons last night.
I can't believe I sucked your jag-on. We said that a whole bunch.
Yeah, we did. Right?
Nice.
All right, yeah, we're getting the old hour and 5. Flew right through this one again.
Yeah, I think we those are all the big things when it comes to the dark stuff.
All right.
Yeah, but apparently, I mean, they've both been around forever. They were created with the Big Bang, like everything else, but are survive. We'll get into that another time. But how nothing is real. It's just our brains only pick up on the stuff that it cares about for us to be able to keep living. But that's why we don't see. Yeah, there's your cliffhanger.
Dude. Yeah. What are you doing in my brain right now? Shit.
Because it doesn't care. Why don't we see ultraviolet or infrared? Our brain doesn't care. But we can see the other ones just fine. Why the retina doesn't pick that up, or it does, because we know, like, we get a suntan or sunburn from ultraviolet rays, so it's interacting with us.
Yeah.
But it goes to the retina, and the brain's like, no, I just need U7. I'm not worried about the rest of that, because tigers only come in these 7. There's no ultraviolet tigers, and that's all we're worried about.
So it's all just evolutionary wardrobe selection.
Pretty much, yeah. That is a fantastic way to put it.
All right. Not bad. Yeah. Well, fucking A, we did another one. This is fun shit.
I like this.
Yeah.
I like this whole talking to you with an audience. hopefully an audience.
Hopefully. Well, as I've said, there's probably a solid 20 we can bank on, and who knows how long they'll stay on.
I know. My cousin will be like, I don't subscribe anymore. It was all right, but there's so many other better podcasts. There's two podcasts for every person alive. So.
Yeah. I only have 2 ears.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
we're gonna wrap it up with the social medias under the guise of science. On Instagram, same at Facebook. Under Guise on Twitter. Guise is spelled Guise on all 3 of those. You can also email us at undertheguiseofscience@gmail.com. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
And most
pleasure as always.
Thanks to Fart Barf.
Thank you, Fart Barf.
Thank you, Fart Barf, as always. Thanks, Josh, for answering my email so quickly.
And thanks for making music. Let's why don't we put some more out on streaming?
Yeah.
Double click me. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
My favorite song.
Let's make it happen. Cool beans.
Are we gonna? I know we're at time, but are we gonna send this to Fart Barf?
I was at the very least gonna send the link.
Okay.
To where they can download or say, "Hey, we're on Spotify. You can listen to us."
Yeah. Then put the ball in their court.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But
cool.
I figured between plugging them every episode and then just hopefully driving 10s of 20s of streams by introducing people to Homeless and Efro.
Yeah, I mean, even if they're like, why are we getting these 35 New York downloads?
Yeah.
Hopefully they could see something like that.
Yeah, just some type of metric to be like, all right, maybe we should play one show somewhere in the New York City area.
Oh, that's be out there for Thanksgiving anyway, so like something like that.
They have the best rider on their website too. It's like
I never saw it.
It's bottles of water, gives a stage layout and like 1 or 2 other things, and then at the bottom it says, "And if you can't be bothered to spend the $20 on the stuff that we need, just let us know and we'll bring it ourselves."
I love it. Yeah, not divas. We're not going to play. Just be like, don't be an asshole. We need water. I'll bring it myself.
Yeah.
You're not going to give it to me. Yeah.
We're just trying to be prepared.
Yeah.
We're going to need it regardless whether you give it to us. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, dude. All
right, Charlie.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
Defer. We'll see you next time.
Under the Guise.